I would rather you, I would rather you confront, fight, and fail than for you just to settle for the comfort of remaining the same. Change is tough, but change is possible for somebody. The world's not going to become easier all of a sudden. No, as you mature, you have more responsibilities, more things that people expect out of you. But the truth is, you can do hard things. The truth is, as long as there's breath in your lungs, there's hope in your heart. Ask yourself, what's my dream? What's my dream? You think you're just here to work on a job, pay the bills, keep a roof over your head, car note, and then die? Come on, give me a break. Raise the bar on yourself. Challenge yourself. Decide you're not going to be the same person. I want you to have the mindset that you're going to live an expanded vision of yourself. And you're going to go all in. I don't know your name, but I know you have a dream. Let's go, let's go. Good morning, family. Rise and shine, TGIF. Thank goodness it is Friday. The sun is not shining today, but we are still rising and shining. No matter what the weather is, we are still showing up and ready to go ahead and expect and get blessings coming in for the Friday. So, family, before we go ahead and get started into today, I've got a fire topic. As you guys can see, we're talking about the circle of control and the 3 areas of training. So before we get started, let's drop a little bit of gratitude down below. What is everybody grateful for coming into today? Let me go ahead and get live on IG, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So once again, family, grateful for God, so grateful for the mind, for the body, for the spirit. We've been getting really deep with these morning rituals, and I'm telling you, we are honestly flowing through the year already. Let me see what day we are on as far as the challenge. Everybody drop down your number down below. What day is everybody on? We are on 167. 167 days straight of honestly getting the feeling, right? Holding the wish fulfilled, really starting to get the plan, get the vision, get the emotions on paper, not just get it on paper, but really be able to feel it. So I love it. 157. I'm proud of you guys. You are on a roll. Let's go. Let's go. Grateful for the dream team. Grateful for the family. Grateful to be healthy and alive. Grateful for the opportunity to go ahead and grow 1% better for today. So let's go ahead and get into it, fam. This topic is going to be interesting because I've touched on it before, but I've never heard it the way I've heard it this morning, right? For those that don't know, I actually got a new book, so I've got a lot of value I'm going to be able to go ahead and pour into everybody. So get ready, get locked in. 11:11, paint your vision. Let's go. The alignment is real. I love it. Shane Tolino on 365 already. All right, so here we go. Circle of influence, right? My topic I'm getting into, how many times have we really thought what is inside of our control and what's actually outside of our control? So if you guys were to go ahead and drop it down below, let me ask you this, right? As far as our circle of control goes, if you were to go ahead and give me an idea, what do we have control of inside of our lives and what do we not have control of it? When you understand this, I promise you, this is going to give you such a huge breakthrough and a break free because you're going to realize it's nothing like what it is that you've seen. It's nothing like what you thought that you've seen it was, right? So go ahead and drop it down below. I want to see everybody's answer. What do you think is inside of our control and what do you believe is outside of our control? So even if you don't say it, go ahead and write it down. Let this stir up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the answer. All right, so check this out. This is coming from Epictetus, right? This is the Stoics. For those of you that don't know, I'm infatuated with the Stoics. I love this time period. I love, honestly, all of the individuals who go real in depth about this information. So check this out. Here's a paragraph straight from the Stoics from Epictetus. Here's what he said. He said, we control our reasoned choice in all acts that depend on that moral will. What's not under our control are the body and any of its parts, our possessions, parents, siblings, children, country, or anything that we might be able to associate it with, right? So here, that's the quote. Here's the paragraph, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to piggyback off this so you can really understand how powerful this is. You ready? All right, check this out. This is important enough that it bears repeating. A wise person knows what's inside of their circle of control and what's outside of it. The good news is it's pretty easy to remember what's inside of our control. According to the Stoics, watch this. The only thing, those of you that answered, whether you dropped it down, whether you put it in the chat, whether you said it in your mind, here's the answer. There's only one thing that's inside of our control. And for those of you that know my story, I've been through so much in life, just like you guys, and I always, felt like I had to, in the old days, felt like I had to grind my way out of things, right? Until I hit certain points in my life. You see, there's certain points, there's certain things in your life you cannot hustle, you cannot go ahead and put the work in to get yourself out of certain things when situations happen. So I'll give you a perfect example, right? When my sister was in the hospital, right? When my sister was sick, when my sister had cancer, I was so broke, I couldn't even afford to go, honestly, to the hospital to go visit, right? So this was things that I never even talked about this. I never even brought up the story, but this is true. So as I started getting deep into my journey, I started to realize there's certain things that I cannot hustle my way out of, right? At the end of the day, some things were out of my control. I had no control what that was going to be able to do to her body. So I started to understand there's things that are inside of our control and there's things that are outside, right? Even when my grandfather was in the hospital, I wanted to hustle my way out of things, but I started to realize there's one point where you realize there's nobody else around you. You don't know how powerful God is until you know that God is all you have. Whoever your creator is, whoever that is to you. So how many of you have ever been in a situation like that where you realize you need help and nobody around you can really help you but your creator? Drop some twos down below if you guys can relate. If you've ever been in that type of scenario. Because guess what? There's a lot of things in life that's outside of our control. So guess what's inside of our circle of control? Guess what's inside? You ready? One thing. It's only one. Your mind. Your mind. Your mind is the only thing that we're in control of. That's it. There's only one thing walking. One thing that exists that we are truly in control of. You know what's scary? We're not even in control of our body. We're not even in control of this. If you don't believe me, God forbid, I'm not even going to speak this to existence, but you see it all the time. People driving and something happens unexpectedly. You didn't plan for it, but that just goes to show you that we are not even in control of this thing right here. So when you understand this is crucial. This might give you a massive breakthrough today, right? Break free. So he said, that's right. Even your physical body isn't completely within our circle. It has a piece, but it is not completely within our circle. After all, you could be struck with a physical illness, impairment at any moment. You could be traveling in a foreign country and anything could happen, right? But here's the good news. Here's what he says. The good news is it drastically reduces the amount of things that we need to be thinking about. There's clarity in simplicity, he says. While everyone else is running around with a list of responsibilities and a mile-long list they're not actually responsible for, you've got just one item on your list. You've got just one thing to manage. Your choices, your will, your mind. So mind it. And this is how we covered this chapter for today. But how cool is that to really understand that there is only one thing we can control? And when you really know that, all the things that we spent so much time, so much energy thinking about, you now can let that go. If it's not going to matter in 5 months, we don't need to spend more than 5 minutes thinking about it. And this changed everything for me because I started doing this subconsciously years ago. When nobody around me believed me at the beginning, it used to stick with me, it used to aggravate me until I realized, you know what, that's out of my control. You know what I can control? I can control my work ethic. I can control my actions. I can control what it is that I do on a daily basis. And it all came down to the mind, to the decisions that we make, right? We can make a decision to eat healthy today. We can make a decision to go ahead and do the right actions, to get on Go Live, to call our mentor, to show up in the chats with high energy, right? High income is high energy. To be able to be a person of service. All this happens where? In the mind. Visualizing that person before it even happens already. And that now gives us the feeling. So you guys see it's raining outside today. Guess what? That's outside of my control. I wanted to go ahead and do yoga. I wanted to do an outside workout. Guess what? I made it happen anyways. Why? Because the external environment does not dictate who it is that we are or what it is that we do. Why? Because there's only one thing we can control. Can't control the weather. We can't control the markets. We can't control people buying items inside of our e-commerce store. But guess what we can control? Our mind. To say, even if we put out 6 products and 6 products work, guess what? We know that there's still a winning product that's out there. So we're going to keep going. We're going to stay consistent. And this is going to get in straight to my topic to go ahead and piggyback off of Epictetus. Getting in today is going to be the power of consistency. Okay? The power of consistency. And then I'm going to touch on the last piece is the 3 areas of training. So I'm going to touch on consistency real quick, right? Sean Murphy was touching on consistency today. And the way he put it, it hit pretty different, okay? I want you guys to think about yourselves as a piece of gold, right? Imagine your body. Our body was plated in gold, right? 14 karat, whatever karat is that we like, right? Every day that we do something positive, every day that we take one step forward, guess what we're doing? We're polishing this gold, right? It's becoming brighter. It's becoming shinier. But every day that we go into a negative habit, imagine just a little chip away from the gold. So eventually, there's no gold there anymore, but you don't notice it day by day. We don't notice the little things like not showing up, not getting in the group chat, not putting our energy out to the universe. You don't notice that effect right away. You never do. Just like your body, you're never going to see your body change in a matter of a day or two. But over a month's period of time, now you can start to see the effect. So I want you to imagine yourself, your body, your temple right now is a piece of 14, 18, whatever karat that you want to envision yourself, right? And every time that we take a negative action today, it's chipping away, right? We go and eat a piece of junk food, it's chipping away. We go ahead and we skip the gym, it's chipping away. We go ahead, we don't get on Go Live, we don't plug in, it's chipping away. You don't notice it overnight, but I'm telling you, overnight, it starts to make a difference, the compound effect. This is one book that I highly suggest if you guys have never read it, if you've never tapped into it, Darren Hardy, The Compound Effect. Huge. It's going to show you what it does to have the little actions grow on a daily basis. So let's go ahead and get into it today, right? The last piece of my training is going to be your 3 areas of training, right? And you can apply consistency to all 3 of these areas. You ready? So here's the 3 areas. Number 1 is going to be what should we desire and what should we be adverse to is honestly in the same, this is coming from the same book, right? Epictetus as well, okay? I'm going to say it one more time. What should we desire and what should we be adverse to? Why? So what it is that we want is good and we're avoiding what's bad. This has all come down to intention. This has all come down to the power of awareness once again, okay? So he talks about listening to our body is not enough because there's distractions that end up getting into the way. So what do I mean by that? Listening to our body. It's raining outside. So many will say, well, I don't feel like going to the gym today. My external environment doesn't look good. I don't feel like doing what I need to do. That's so easy to say in so many areas of life because you're going to realize an excuse is always going to be there. But when you know what your desire is, when you're clear on what it is that you want, the external environment, it starts to not matter as much anymore. The excuses, they start to flow out the window because you understand where you're going. You know, every day it's important that we take one step further than we did yesterday, even if it's a small one. So knowing this is key. Clarity is everything. So number 2, the next part we must examine is going to be our impulses. This is huge, right? I got another break for you this morning from this too. Pay attention. I got 5 minutes left. Stick with me. Ready? Your impulses. Here's what we talked about. Next, we must examine our impulses to act on our motivations. Because are we doing things because of the right reasons? Is what he said. Or do we act because we haven't stopped to actually think? This is huge. Because how many are just moving through life without thinking? How many of us do we have points in our day where we end up just going on autopilot, right? It's easy at work because at work, we're so used to doing the same activities day in and day out. Guess what we do? We get on autopilot because it's like second nature. You do the job enough times, you don't really have to think about it. But the problem is when we come back home, or maybe before we even go to work, that intentional time thinking is so crucial because you start to realize that all of the impulse actions come when we're on autopilot, when we're not thinking. You scroll on social media, we get lost on there, right? I do it sometimes too. It happens to all of us, right? Because I'm not intentionally thinking. What am I doing with my time right now? IPAs, is this producing me any income, or can I actually be doing something productive right now? I got so serious where every alarm throughout my day, because I used to get so distracted, because there was impulse things that used to grab my attention. Somebody used to give me a call, and they were calling me to talk about nothing, right? There used to be an impulse to sit in there and talk to me, and now I don't have time for that anymore. If it's not about growth, if it's not about getting to the next level, it's not about fixing what's going on, we don't need to be talking about it, right? Because at the end of the day, your time is valuable. So when you start to realize all of the impulse things that we do, most of the time when they're negative, it's because we're not thinking. We didn't take a second to stop and really open that gap and ask ourselves, is this producing anything, or are we just wasting time? Because family, at the end of the day, it's 2023. You saw how fast 22 went by. And the question is, do we want to 10x what happened last year? Or do we want to sit in the same spot December 31st at Christmas time, just like we were literally a couple of days ago? I don't know about you, but I'm looking to 10x every single area of our lives. You're in the dream team. You already know it's already done. It is already done, right? This is what the daily actions are going to lead to. And the third thing, right? The third area of training is going to be our judgment, okay? Our ability to be able to see things clearly and properly, because when we use this great gift, this is where the magic happens. So here's how we wrapped it up. The three areas of distinct training, but in practice, they are all intertwined. Our judgment affects what we desire. Our desires affect how we act, just as our judgment determines how we act. But we can't just expect things to happen. We must put real thought and energy into each area of our lives. And if we do, we will find true clarity and real success. So I love this. This was something that really put things in perspective, so we can start analyzing all of these different areas. Number one, where is our circle of control? What have we been spending so much time thinking about that in reality, it's not even in our control? So that's a lot of baggage you guys can literally take today, get it off your shoulder, because you don't need to have that on you coming into 2023. The second part was consistency. Understanding that water, right? I don't know if you guys know this or not, but running water, consistent water can literally cut through almost anything that exists. It cuts through mountains, it cuts through steel. So your consistency is the same way. I like to say it all the time, consistency kills. Somebody that sees you consistent, showing up every single day, while most people are struggling with so much mental health issues right now, for you to be the light, for you to be the one that they can come to look at, for someone of value, for someone that is a person of love and passion, a person of giving and service, I'm telling you right now, you are going to shine so bright in 2023. You're going to become so magnetic. You are going to attract your dreams faster than you've ever imagined this year. I truly believe that. So there's never been a better time to get bold, consistent, and realize we can only control what we control. And when we focus on that, the universe is going to open up. The right people, places, and circumstances. So family, with that being said, go out and have an abundant day. If nobody has told you yet, I appreciate you. You're valued. Your voice does matter. You are so important to the world. And I'm telling you, when you start putting yourself out there, you're gonna ask yourself one question. Wow. How come I wasn't ready for this love all along? That's the issue with most of us. You're not ready for the love, myself included. As we continue to step into the highest version, you're going to get so much love that comes back to you. And the biggest question all along was, have you been ready for the love? Sean Murphy says it all the time. So family, get ready for the love, because the world is waiting to hear your voice, your story, and your impact. So go out and be great. If you got any value from today, smash that like button. Go ahead and drop some threes down below. I'm proud of you, family. It is your favorite entrepreneur, Define Dreams. Remember, you can be, do, or have anything that you can hold in your mind. I promise you can hold it right here in your hand. The only that's left is for time to catch up. I will see you on another episode with Rise and Shine with Define. We've got a phenomenal end to the Friday. It is payday, so go out and be great. You already know. Let's grow, family. It's game time.